One of the earliest films that really made me fall in love with animation was the 1983 flick Fire and Ice, a collaboration between two giants of the industry, animator extraordinaire Ralph Bakshi and Frank Frazetta, a man who brought fantasy to life with his canvas. Fire and Ice tells the story of Larn, a warrior who rescues Teegra after she's kidnapped by Queen Juliana, her son Nekron of Icepeak. The story unfolds like a fairy tale, concluding with an epic battle between the forces of good and evil. One of the scene stealers in this final battle is Darkwolf, a masked warrior who helps Larn with his mission. Darkwolf has a personal stake in the battle as he has a vendetta against Nekron and Juliana. Just like his face, Darkwolf's story is also shrouded in mystery. For years, fans of the film, myself, have wondered about this mysterious hero, but now we don't have to wonder any longer. Dynamite Comics has recently released the first issue of Fire and Ice Darkwolf, a spin-off series that explores the legendary warrior himself. It's written by Dan Panosian, who you might recognize from his other comic books, Marvel Knight's Punisher, Alice Never After, and The Last Boy, plus it's illustrated by Andrey Lunatik, who's worked on Pray for the Sinner, Demon Dark. We don't know how many issues this series will run just yet. Let's dive into the first issue because it's absolutely fascinating so far. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. It's snowing in the hills. On the snow-covered roads, a mother, two of her daughters, both 9 years old, and a powerful warrior ride their horses along. The weather, however, isn't what makes them tremble. Their mother, Satara, and her daughters, Kristak and Krissa, are escaping their father. For 9 years, all the twins knew was a life inside the castle, observing the cruelty of their father, and for 9 years, the mother and daughters shared a hopeful dream of seeing life outside the castle, far from their father's torment, but this dream was slowly becoming a nightmare. Kristak and Krissa's father was an incredibly powerful and evil wizard, and though the twins often wondered if magic was real, they knew that evil was, and they had the displeasure of seeing and sensing it nearly every day of their short lives. Their mother had told them that the world was full of evil and that they were merely victims of it. They were powerless playthings for the wicked. They had tried to hide from evil and failed. They were now running from evil, but unfortunately it was catching up with them. The small group stops suddenly, and the warrior places his ear to the ground. He hears the horses galloping closer and closer. Unbeknownst to him, the mysterious warrior Darkwolf observes both parties, one hand clutching his staff, and the other his axe, with his trusty steed at his side. Kristak and Krissa weren't the only children the wizard had. He had hundreds, or at least that's what the twins were told. Out of all of his children, Kristak and Krissa were the most special, as they were the only twins. This meant that they had a divine purpose. The two of them were sheltered from their father's cruelty, but his kindness wasn't without a price. They had to pay with their lives so that their father could continue to be a powerful sorcerer. The 6 horsemen following the group began to speed up, and Darkwolf led his horse away from the cliff. The warrior guiding the mother-daughter trio asks them to ride as fast as possible. Satara asks her daughters to hold tight, and the group begins to cut through the forest with as much haste as possible. A spear comes flying towards them, but the warrior stops it with his shield. Sensing that things are about to get ugly, Satara asks her daughters to close their eyes. The warrior leading them was a friend of both Satara and their father, but it was clear that their father no longer considered him a friend. He was a powerful warrior who had killed many and was feared by more. The twins had watched in terror as the warrior had slaughtered men in the arena to the cheers of their father. They had watched him bleed too, but it was clear that the man was powerful. He had courage and spirit in his veins, and that's what gave him purpose. After all, purpose is what keeps most people alive. As they try to ride away, metal chains are thrown, wrapping up the horse's legs. The warrior crashes down and an arrow pierces his shoulder. Satara and her daughters grab onto each other as the horsemen encircle them. The warrior fights all of them with great valor. Some men break easier, some break slower, and some refuse to break, but it is unavoidable that eventually they do break. For the warrior, this break comes in the form of death, a sword entering his heart. With his last breath, he asks Satara to run. Satara, however, is too scared and freezes in place. She holds on to her daughters, refusing to let them go, but despite her bravery, she's just one woman against 6 men. That day, the girls realize that doom doesn't prefer fair odds. It stacks the odds to feed itself. Unexpected help. As the girls struggle helplessly against the strong men about to take them back to their father, Darkwolf rides through the forest, slashing through every vine and stray branch that dares to get in his way. As soon as he sees the girls in danger, Darkwolf puts his axe to work and slices the ribs of the unfortunate horsemen who encountered him first. Darkwolf moves like the wind, choking, ripping, slashing, and hacking at the men. He's about to kill the last of them when the horseman pulls out his bugle horn and, with a sinister snicker, blows it with bloody lips. The blast of the horn echoes across the forest, and the girls realize how a single sound can turn a celebration into a funeral. Just one word, up. Darkwolf helps the girls back onto their horse, while Sitara gets back on hers. The group continues across the forest before more riders can answer the call of the dying horseman. The girls know that their father would not be pleased that they slipped through his fingers. He had made a bargain with Hell, and now he owed the Eyes of Mitra a blood debt. He had to give them his blood, but the sacrifice didn't need to be from his body, it would be his children. A wizard hunting for his own children to sacrifice them for his selfish desires, and a masked stranger willing to risk his life for people he doesn't know a lick about. It doesn't get more contrasting than this. It's the perfect good versus evil story, and we can't wait to see how it develops. So far, we haven't gotten much out of Darkwolf. He said exactly one word in this issue, continuing the mystery that surrounds his character. Hopefully, as the series progresses, we'll get to learn more about who Darkwolf is, what led him to become this vigilante, and what his intentions and motivations truly are. The story does a great job of hooking you into its narrative and moves along at a good pace. The art is unfortunately not by Frazetta, but it resembles his dreamlike style perfectly. For our money, this one's a must-read if you're a fantasy fan who likes old-timey art. But what were your thoughts on the first issue of Fire and Ice, Darkwolf? Do you have any predictions or criticisms? Let us know in the comments section down below, and if you like this video and want to see more stuff like it, be sure to leave a like and a subscribe because that's the best way to get more content like this. We'll be back soon with more awesome stuff, but until then, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.